Hey everyone, I'm Alex Williams and you're watching the Weekly Update with Funagain Games for the week of October 10th, 2016. In this special weekly update, and because Essen is starting this week, we're going to be running down the top 25 pre-orders coming from Essen. Hold on tight, we're going to do this fast. Essen is one of the world's biggest gaming conventions and sees thousands of guests and games from all over. Most of these games can be pre-ordered from Funagain.com and utilize our Essen Air service to get it to your front door in a hurry. In celebration of that convention, here are the top 25 games being pre-ordered from Essen. In Papa Paolo, 2 to 4 players compete to deliver the most pizzas to the hungry customers of Naples. To do this, you must outsmart your rivals by being a clever investor, bidding on the right city tiles, and creating your own little district of Naples. In Guilds of London, you place your liverymen in strategic guilds, building your power base so that you can achieve the status of master in many of them. You also have the opportunity to spread your power into the commercially valuable Ulster of Virginia plantations. Control of each guild provides victory points and additional actions that you can exploit so that you can control the future development of the city. Age of Thieves is a fantasy board game of strategy and adventure. Each player becomes a master thief about to commit the most daring burglary of his career and must escape the city with his loot to win. In the Oracle of Delphi, the player's ships travel across a large variable game board of hexagonal tiles showing islands and the surrounding waters. Each player aims to reach certain islands to perform the 12 tasks given by Zeus. In the Colonists, each player is a mayor of a village and must develop their environment to gain room for new farmers, craftsmen, and citizens. The main goal of the game is full employment, so players must create new jobs, educate the people, and build new houses to increase their population. In Ulm, the players try to expand their spheres of influence and to make optimal use of the hustle and bustle on the marketplace around the Ulm Cathedral. In Colony, each player uses dice as resources to construct and upgrade buildings while managing resources to grow their fledgling colony. In Railroad Revolution, you will manage your own railroad company, ruthlessly competing to be the most powerful railroad tycoon across all America. You will build railroads, establish stations in your connected cities, expand the network of telegraph lines, and chase your objectives, increasing the value of your company with every action you take. In Lorenzo il Magnifico, each player takes the role of a head of a noble family in a city during the Italian Resistance, and try to accumulate prestige and fame to gain more victory points than others. La Granja no Siesta is a standalone dice game following up the board game La Granja. Players collect resources to cross them off their scoring sheet in order to get the most victory points. In Seafall, players take on the role of a mainland empire that consults with a consortium of advisors to discover new islands, explore those islands, develop trade, send out raiding parties, take part in ship-to-ship combat, and more. First Martians Adventures on the Red Planet pits players against the hostile Martian environment in a whole host of new adventures and challenges. In Cottage Garden, you compete in the art of gardening. You gain points for all of the visible plant pots and planting bells in your garden bed. In the end, the player with the most points wins. Honshu is a trick-taking, map-building card game set in feudal Japan. Players are lords and ladies of noble houses seeking new lands and opportunities for fame and fortune. In Terraforming Mars, players each play a corporation and work together in the terraforming process, but compete for getting victory points that are awarded for your contribution to the terraforming, for advancing human infrastructure, and doing other commendable things. In Great Western Trail, players are rival cattlemen in the 19th century America, herding cattle in a circular trail from the south of Texas to Houston, where the cattle can then be shipped by train, earning players money and victory points. Crisis is a turn-based game for 1 to 5 players who assume the roles of businessmen, trying to rebuild their businesses and create value at a particularly challenging time. Brettspiel Adventskalender 2016 is pretty much what the name says it is, a board game advent calendar for 2016 that contains 24 small expansions for 24 different games from different publishers. In PAX Renaissance, players play as Renaissance bankers who will finance kings or republics, sponsor voyages of discovery, join secret cabals, or unleash jihads and inquisitions. Player choices determine whether Europe is elevated into the bright modern era or remains festering in dark feudalism. In Pandemic Iberia, you will need to travel by carriage, by boat, or by train to help the Iberian populace. While doing so, distributing purified water and developing railways will help you slow the spread of diseases in this new version of Pandemic. In Key to the City London, each player aims to develop their own London borough, based around their home tile, using large hexagonal location tiles. The player with the most victory points wins. In North American Railways, players build railroads in the United States. They become directors of up to 5 different companies and try to acquire the majority of shares. In the end, the player with the most cash wins. In BIOS Genesis, players start as organic compounds shortly after Earth's formation. Their goal is a double origin of life. First as autocatalytic life, then second as Darwinian life. Players can play cooperative, competitive, or solitaire. In A Feast for Odin, players have to hunt, gather basic materials, refine those materials, develop their production buildings, build and buy ships, and raid settlements. The resulting earnings are placed on the player's board in the best possible pattern to produce income and eventually victory points. Solarius Mission is a tactical and strategic civilization game in a pulp science fiction setting, with a dice draft, dice manipulation, and resource management mechanism. It can best be described as a mid-weight Euro-style game. Alright, now let's talk about a few new items in stock this week. Haba has dropped some new games in stock, including Frankendex Numbers and Quantities, Clomping Creatures, Go Go Little Penguin, Go Cuckoo, and Ghost Blaster. New boosters, sleeves, deck boxes, and more are available for Magic the Gathering's latest installment, Kaladesh. Codex is now in stock with its core set, starter set, and sleeves. Codex is a real-time strategy card game. Ramp up your workers, build tech buildings, summon heroes, and level them up. Just like an RTS video game, concepts like build orders, fog of war, investing in your economy, and protecting your buildings and heroes all apply. Your Codex holds all your faction's cards. Build your deck from it as you play. Gather up a team of heroes in fantasy, hordes and heroes, to defend the town. Roll the combinations to activate their awesome abilities and fight your way through the monsters to the bosses. Defeat 3 of 5 bosses, then tally up your trophies from the day. Collect the most victory points to win. London Dread is a cooperative game set in Victorian England. Players take on the role of investigators trying to uncover plots on the way to confronting a story-specific finale. It is a tense and truly cooperative experience where players must work together, communicate well, plan effectively, and use the strengths of their investigators in an attempt to stay a step ahead on the mean streets of the city. This week's Game of the Week is a little older but still very popular and at a very special price. Check it out. From Plaid Hat Games, Tail Feathers is an exciting miniature skirmish game set in the beloved world of mice and mystics. Soar across the table, send your troops on dangerous missions, lock beaks with opposing birds, and defend your nest. Featuring the beautiful hand-sculpted miniatures fans have come to love, Tail Feathers raises the stakes with 13 dutiful ground troops, 5 headstrong birds that tilt for launching and turning, plus 5 daring pilots. Players will recreate the famous battles for aerial supremacy that shaped the Mice and Mystics world, outwit and outfly your opponent in standalone scenarios, or play full campaign and see your units gain skill from one battle to the next. Tail Feathers is a standalone game, not a Mice and Mystics expansion, but you can use your Mice and Mystics Sorrow and Remembrance miniatures in Tail Feathers right out of the box. Tail Feathers offers cinematic gameplay and a fresh, whimsical setting for tabletop skirmish gaming. Players must balance the use of both flying and ground units to achieve victory. Tail Feathers is available at Funagain.com for an awesome 43% off. That's it for this special weekly update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you after Essen. If you have any questions or comments about any of the games featured in this video or about Funagain Games, please leave them in the comments section below or send us an email at cs_general@funagain.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and of course subscribe right here on YouTube so we can keep bringing you weekly updates.